everyone, and welcome back to another weekly chapter review of Tokyo Ghoul. This week we are covering chapter 65 titled Heavy Steps. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into this. You guys already know who I am and what I do. So let's just hop right into this with a very crazy theory that I've kind of developed over these past couple of days. And that is, it could be possible. Now, it might be reaching, but I did manage to stumble some sort of evidence as to this theory, but it could be possible that Arima might be a one-eyed ghoul. And although I don't even believe in this theory, but just hear me out. I still believe that Arima is human, but there is some evidence to suggest that there might be more to Arima than him just being a human. Okay, so the first thing that I want to note to you guys is his eye, specifically his right eye. There are many occurrences where it seems that one of Arima's eyes is like subtly highlighted. In this chapter, Shachi mentions before he loses that Arima fought well despite having such eyes. Although it could have been a figurative meaning, it seems to also imply that Arima might be blind in one eye significantly. Sachi even says that Arima's weakness is his blind spot. And so I did some digging around and try to see if I could put anything together with what I'd written down, and I found some interesting things. So first off is one of the volume covers of Tokyo Ghoul, the original Tokyo Ghoul, and that is the one specifically of Arima. And if you can note here, you see that in the picture, his right eye specifically, is covered in blood on his glasses. But if you look underneath it, his eye is colored. And this, I did not color this or anything. It's already like that. You can go and look at it for yourself. But his other eye is normal, but then the other eye, it's covered by blood, but underneath the eye, it seems to have some like yellow and blue tint on it. So that kind of struck me off as kind of odd when I zoomed in on it, and I was like, holy crap, let me showcase that and see what you guys thought about it. But I thought it was very interesting seeing how his eye is covered in blood, but underneath that, it seems like his eye is in a totally different color. Now it could just be some coloring, I don't know, but it's interesting to point out. Now, some scenes from this chapter, you can also note how his eye seems to have some kind of significance, or I guess like detail compared to the other one. Like if you see the right panel, I'll move it around here, this panel right here, his eye seems a lot darker compared to the other eye. And then if you look at the left panel, this one right here, it's kind of the same way. Now this one I'm kind of pushing it because they both look exactly the same, but the other one I feel like is more significant. And another thing is, if you look at past events, you can always see that he's always been grazed close to his right eye. For example, when he fought Kaneki at the end of Tokyo Ghoul, and Kaneki grazed him, and when he was fighting oh my god, the woman ghoul in Tokyo Ghoul Jack, he got grazed by her as well, and yet he still didn't show any emotion or anything like that. But it seemed like it was the specific place. So it seems like, and here's another interesting part, is during both of these battles, the ghouls that he's fighting up against have not fully been there. Like when he was fighting Kaneki was going crazy, but at the same time trying to fight Arima. And it was kind of like the same thing when he was fighting this other ghoul in Tokyo Ghoul Jack, because she had been found out and exposed, and she knew that there was going to be no running away. She knew she had to fight and get rid of Arima there. So at that point, she was struggling, she was frustrated, and I think that when fighting, it became more, and during these two battles, the ghouls that were fighting against Arima became more of an instinct type thing. So like when animals fight, when it becomes like an instinct type of situation, automatically, not, I wouldn't say automatically, it's like you get some kind of sixth sense knowing where someone's weak spot is. It's very common seeing that in animals when they're attacking their prey and whatnot. But it seems in both of these situations, he has gotten his right eye specifically stabbed, maybe implying that through instinct, these ghouls that fought him seemed to know that he was blind or significantly blind in that eye for some specific reason. Another example of this is also when he's fighting Shachi in this chapter, and Shachi notes, he has a blind spot, and that being most likely being his eyesight. And it seems like when he's attacking him close to the end, it seems like he was actually trying to go after his eye, or trying to go after that field of vision where he knew Arima wasn't as he couldn't see as clearly. And okay, you can argue, well, Arima wears glasses, but that's not that good of an argument, to be honest with you, because Kaneki wears glasses and he's super blind. We all know that his vision is impaired badly, and that's why he wears glasses now. Just because you wear glasses does not mean you can see better. Maybe he wears glasses so that he can improve his vision slightly, because one thing that a lot of people have been implying, which I've been looking around, is this scene right here when Kaneki was fighting Tsukiyama, and he was trying to rescue Hinami after the whole battle, and this perspective here seems to come from Arima's perspective, because this is when he arrives and he's looking at Kaneki. So this is the perspective that we get. So it seems like he's extremely blind. Imagine without his glasses, he probably can't see jack from that eye. But I think it's interesting to know that he is significantly blind in his right eye, and he can't see that well. Could it be due to stress of being a one-eyed ghoul? Maybe. Now, another thing is we haven't seen him unleash any kind of Kagune or Kakuja or anything, right? So that could be false. And again, I don't necessarily agree with this. It was just like I saw all of this and I was like, okay, let me just put it all together and present it. But it could be possible. Just throwing possibilities out there. But let me know what you guys think about that. So yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what to think, to be honest. Another reason Arima could be a one-eyed ghoul is his physical capabilities. He is incredibly strong and he has so much stamina for being just a regular human. Now, I can counteract that by saying, I always give the example of Hairu. Hairu was in the Sunlight Garden, and she was incredibly strong and had so much endurance. Also, Kijima as well. He was incredibly strong and has so much endurance. Both of these characters did. I'm not sure, pretty sure Kijima was never announced to be from the Sunlight Garden, but even so, he was a human by, as far as we know, and Hairu was as well. And yet they were very strong. Hairu got sliced in half. Kijima got sliced in half. One of them got sliced in half, and they were still kicking. They were still going around swinging, which is like a regular human would have died. Okay, so we've seen instances of very strong humans. Amon is another prime example. He's incredibly strong despite being a human. Who knows if he is now, but when he was in Tokyo Ghoul, he was incredibly strong. And so it could be that Arima is just a very powerful human, but at the same time, with this whole eye theory, if he is possibly a one-eyed ghoul, then it could explain why he is so strong and has so much stamina and is able to take on all these ghouls, because he has taken on the strongest ghouls we have seen in the series so far. Shachi, Eto, Kaneki, he took on Yomo. He's fighting like all the strongest ones, and not just that, by himself most of the time, and he was able to do it. Like he never needed any help, and without any kind of sense of doubt. So it's like it shows us that there is more to, possibly there's more to Arima's strength than meets the eye. pun intended. I think the last reason of all this is possibly the RC gates. You know, last chapter we were shown the revelation that the RC gates allows any ghouls that are members of V to enter and exit the CCG headquarters, any kind of buildings freely. And so with this, I believe, you know, it for me it brought a lot more evidence to proposing the fact that Furuta is Sota, you know, the guy who's in CCG and he's a clown or whatever. But also that revelation could have been given us to us as well, maybe because of Arima possibly being a one-eyed ghoul as well, because we know he's from the Sunlit Garden and we know he is a member of the V organization. So I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't believe in it, even though it's so much like evidence, you could say. But even so, I kind of don't stand by it. I think there might be more of a case with his eyesight being bad or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I did want to throw that out there, and yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. Moving on, I do want to go and talk about a certain theory thing that I have. So, or another theory, I guess. So, at the end of my review of the last chapter, chapter 64, I said that I had proposed that Tokyo Ghoul Re, if you take everything out, like if you leave just the main points of each arc, they follow pretty much exactly the same to Tokyo Ghoul. I don't know if you guys stuck around till the end or if you guys skipped to the end, but you can skip to the end of the review and I pretty much go into detail of that theory. And basically what I'm saying is, because of this, because if you look into the main storylines of each volume of Tokyo Ghoul Re so far and each arc, and what we've gotten, and you compare that to the storylines of each volume and arc in Tokyo Ghoul that we've gotten so far, it's kind of follows similar. So I said, because of that, maybe we can propose further prediction from seeing how the other volumes that carry on from Tokyo Ghoul went. So I dug up some stuff, went back and reread Tokyo Ghoul, and this is what I came up with. So right now, I believe there's going to be a parallel between the Ru Island raid, with the CCG raiding Ru Island, and the Aogiri raid during Tokyo Ghoul. And it's going to be very, very similar, because think about how it's been set up so far. The CCG is going to go to Ru Island, and it seems like during that time, Ayato is going to go to invade Kokuria, you know, the prison ward. In Tokyo Ghoul, they invaded Aogiri, the CCG, and during that time, Eto invaded Kokuria and managed to free some ghouls. So let me show you some parallels here, and let me go further into detail of all of this. An example of this being, and as to how this sets up what I'm saying, is before, in Tokyo Ghoul, before the raid of Kokuri of Aogiri, and before Kaneki was captured, when he first met Banjo, and the whole misunderstanding with Banjo and Kaneki went out, and then they started talking. Banjo said, if you ever meet Rize, tell her to run away. This was before the raid in Aogiri. This is before Kaneki got captured. This is before all of that stuff. Right now, before we're getting into the invasion of Ru Island and everything, Shachi says one thing specifically to his quote-unquote daughter Rize before he died or is captured by V organization. He says something very specific. He says, he says, Rize, run. You see the parallels here? Like, they're very, very similar. They're like too similar. You know, it's like you're reading the same story. It's just there's other development going on. Like, it's not going exactly the same way, but in terms of story, it seems like it's going the same way. Now, let me keep on going further. But before that, on the topic of Banjo, we did get to see Banjo again, which is awesome. And I wonder if he's seen Rize, because he obviously cared for Rize, so he probably wants to see her badly if he knows if she's alive. But I just wanted to throw that out there. It was cool seeing Banjo again, and missed him. Okay, so anyways, moving on. Another reason as to what with this whole thing could come up. I want to kind of predict as to how I believe the raid on Rue Island will go down. So, the first example and first prediction, I guess, is during the raid of Aogiri, Eto broke into Kokuria to break out some ghouls. Those ghouls being Shachi, Naki, Roma from the clowns. I think Shikare managed to break out, but he broke out on himself, or they rescued him. I don't know how that went down. You can see that here during the flashback where Rize confronts Shachi and says, do you want to see your daughter? Do you want to see Rize again? So, I believe that this time around, during the raid on Kokuria, while the CCG is raiding Rue Island, and Ayato is raiding Kokuria, because he's gonna go back to Kokuria because of him rescuing Hinami. And remember this: during the rescue of the disposal of Hinami's not the only one who's gonna be executed. There are plenty of ghouls that are gonna be executed. So I think during this raid on Kokuria, there are going to be other ghouls that are going to escape that there might play some big role into the future of Tokyo Ghoul raid, and we might see some other S+ SS rank ghouls that will be breaking out of Kokuria. A good example of that maybe possibly being Donato, who was the father figure of Amon, or maybe some other new ones that we haven't seen before. And I think also with something else that was revealed, there might be some other intentions of freeing some other ghouls, but I'll go into that at the end of the review. Another thing is that before and during the raid of Aogiri, Kaneki was being tortured by Yamori, Jason, which led him into becoming the white-haired Kaneki, right? So he was tortured to crap and everything. It was a bad experience, and we saw that, and we saw what happened to Kaneki. His character changed, and he became the white-haired Kaneki. Flip that to Tokyo Ghoul raid. Before the Rue Island raid, what happened? Mutsuki was captured and taken in by Torso. And what is happening to him right now? I apologize, I keep saying her. What is happening to him right now? He's being tortured by Torso, okay? And I keep seeing people even now, even with this panel, I saw people saying that Mutsuki's not being tortured. Like, wow. I mean, it's not like I want something to happen to Mitsuki. I care for Mitsuki, but like, come on now, like, that's just super doubtful. But because of this, I believe that during the Rue Island raid, Mitsuki will probably do the same thing to Torso as to what Kaneki did to Jason, where Kaneki basically killed Jason. Mitsuki's gonna break free from Torso and kill Torso, and then Mitsuki's gonna have this 180 change, and possibly we'll be getting that white-haired Mitsuki that we've been seeing in like different art that Ishida has been doing as of late. And so that's highly possible. Another reason, or another, I guess, prediction, and another reason as to how this prediction could go down, is that before the Aogiri raid, we were introduced to Juzo, and what we got to see was what kind of a character he was during the raid. He was just an insane killing machine, and because of his help, the CCG managed to quote unquote stop Aogiri, even though during that time Aogiri broke into Kukuri at the same time. What in the world? Oh yeah, so that's the Kaneki. So we'll get the white-haired Kaneki, then flip that into the white-haired Mutsuki or whatever. But anyways, so in Tokyo Ghoul, we are before the raid in Aogiri, we're introduced a little bit into Juzo, but then we really see what kind of a person he is during the raid in Aogiri, how crazy he is, and how just sadistic and just crazy overall he is, right? Now flip that into raid. Who is the newest people we have been introduced in the CCG? Those are the Qs, right? We don't know much about them, but we do know some good amount of information, and we do know that they will be one of the people in the front lines during the raid on Koshla. I mean, not during the raid on Koshla, during the raid on Rue Island. And so because of this, I think that these characters here, these three, personally, in my opinion, specifically somebody like Higemaru and Shao, I mean, not Shao. Shao. Higemaru and Shao are going to be like the highlights. They're going to be the Juzo of this raid. They're going to be able to accomplish killing a bunch of ghouls, and because of this, they'll be able to help out the CCG into winning, quote unquote, the mission in the raid against Aogiri on Rue Island. And here we will see kind of the real personalities of these characters, specifically in my opinion Higemaru, because he seems like he's crazy as well. It kind of reminds me a lot more of Juzo than the other two. But yeah, so like I said, from the setup that we've gotten so far, it's very similar to how the setup was in Tokyo Ghoul. So I think because of this, if you put two and two together, all these things, it seems like that's how it's going to go down. And I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Now, I'm not saying this is actually going to happen. I'm just theorizing here. I'm just making a prediction. But maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But because of this, I do necessarily believe that that we won't be seeing Amon anytime soon. I do believe we'll be seeing him way later on, like really seeing him, like him talking and everything. We will see him maybe somewhere in the future, but I don't see him like coming in and really explaining himself anytime soon. I think that's gonna happen towards the end, and I just kind of want to throw that out there as well. Couple things before I finish this up. One is the 86 Ghoul, which something interesting about this Ghoul. So I've been seeing on forums and stuff that people were theorizing that this is Hide, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hide. It kind of looks like him from the, well, I can't say it kind of looks like him. The other thing that we really have to go with is the hair, right? So it's a bit of a crack theory, but here's something interesting about the 86 Ghoul. So the 86 Ghoul is introduced in chapter 65 of Tokyo Ghoul. Okay, so he has the number 86 on the mask. And here's what's funny. You know what chapter he was introduced the first time we saw him, which is the right panel right here? He was introduced in chapter 43. Now, I don't know if this is coincidence or not, but this guy, what's 43 plus 3? 86. And so we're introduced to a character who has the number 86 on him in the 43rd chapter. I feel like it might be a coincidence that happened, but here's another thing. When we're first introduced to him, it's on page 13 of chapter 43. Now in chapter 65, do you know what page we see him again? Page 13. So there, not only do we see him again in the same page, but he's introduced in the chapter where you can add, I guess, two, like he's like half of the like what his mask number is, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, it might be a coincidence, and if that is, wow, that's some really crazy coincidence. But I decided, okay, because of this, I'll make another crack theory, and I believe that we will see this. Well, we will find out who this character is in Tokyo Ghoul chapter 86. Okay, and then in chapter 86 we'll find out who he is. I know that's far-fetched and everything. I do understand that, but it might be possible. Maybe not. I don't know. But I did want to throw that out there. Maybe it's a possibility. And I did go back and reread chapter 86 of Tokyo Ghoul, and something interesting came across where I guess you can connect this. This character here that I'm going to talk about could possibly be who is hiding under the mask of 86. Now, I highly doubt it, because I don't see much significance with this character, but it could be possible. And this character is actually Gil. Gil, he's a very minor character in Tokyo Ghoul. So, as of now, but you really can't say he's not going to come back or anything. But this guy, he was one of the people who was underneath Shachi when Shachi was leading the 6th Ward. And he hated Kaneki, he hated Rize, and he really admired Shachi for who he was, and despised the fact that he hated the fact that Shachi went and was arrested and got arrested because of Rize and all, and he never liked Kaneki or anything like that. But he remained in the 6th Ward, and now we know that Banjo is in the 6th Ward as well. He's actually the leader of the 6th Ward. So it could be possible that he works underneath Shachi, not Shachi, that he works underneath Banjo. And so possibly maybe this guy is the 86 mask guy. Now, I highly doubt it. One, because of the hair. The hair is entirely different. If you look at it here, like his hair is like totally different, so I kind of doubt it, but I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. And even if he's not, I do think that we might see him again, since when we saw him, we know that he's still alive and he's in the 6th Ward, and since Banjo is in the 6th Ward, I do think that he is still active and maybe a member of whatever Banjo's group is. But yeah, one more thing I wanted to add before I leave is Dr. Cano being revealed to be the leader of the clowns, and that was pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting that, and I was really wondering what in the world Kano's objective is or whatnot. But Eto knows, and now I just wonder, like, what's his goal? Like, why assemble the clowns? Because in my opinion, it seems like the clowns don't have any affiliation with Eto's goals. They're just kind of like a neutral party. So if Kano's the same way, does he have the same intentions as well? Like, they're just there to cause chaos, like they don't have any sense of a goal or anything like that. They're just there to wreck. They're just there to wreck things. What are they? What's their goal? Okay, now we know that Dr. Cano is the leader of the clowns, but what does he have any kind of goal? Does he have any kind of anything? I don't know. And that's where I'm going to end it off. What do you guys think is the goal of Dr. Cano and the clowns? And what do you guys think about everything that I mentioned here, all the theories and everything? And yeah, it was a good chapter, great chapter, a lot of revelations, a lot of confusing stuff, but we'll see how it goes from here. And yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. All right, so thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.